Have you ever felt that you can't seem to express yourself very well in English in a business context, even though you can generally understand and speak English? If so, you've come to the right place. If you want to start speaking business English fluently and confidently, look no further. In this video, I will debunk the myths that keep people from speaking business English fluently and confidently, and walk you through how to go from noob to pro quickly and painlessly in your professional English. I will give you tips that you can start applying today to see a difference in how confident you feel expressing yourself in the workplace. And why should you listen to me? Hi friends, my name is Yuki. I'm a lawyer and a YouTuber based in Hong Kong. I'm a second language English learner myself. I built up my English skills brick by brick until, fast forward to now, I am a lawyer practicing predominantly in English, and I have worked for more than 5 years in a law firm headquartered in the UK and for bosses who are originally from the UK. As such, I understand your struggle with business English and have some tricks up my sleeves that I can't wait to share with you today. But before we get into all of that, let's be clear. What is business English anyways? Here is where 99% of the people got it wrong. And this misconception holds them back from being able to express themselves as freely as they wish to in business or professional English. I used to make this mistake too. When I was starting a job in law as a trainee, it was my first proper job and the first time I worked entirely using English. Obviously, I was eager to make a good impression, but I was thrown off by how different people sound when they're using English in a business or professional context versus what I was used to. Let's get our ducks in a row before the other side reverts. This change is still pending input from the UK. Please put through the amendments and circulate to the wider team. These people were speaking English, but they sounded so foreign. It's almost like they went to the school to learn business English together, and I missed the notice. I thought these people were taught the right way to say anything in the business context, and I wasn't. But this is where the misconception lies. There is actually, surprise surprise, no Ministry of English that dictates how you should speak English in a business context. It's actually just conventions, i.e. how people usually do things. And the reason why people come to speak English in that way in a business context is to convey messages. Certain words or turn of phrase make you sound professional and in control. And that is how most people like to be perceived in business world, when they are dealing with other parties in business or with colleagues in the workplace. Sometimes the choice of word conveys the perceived distance between you and the other person, i.e. how close you feel you are to them and how close you want them to feel to you. We actually already do this naturally. It's like how we speak differently to children than we speak to adults. We choose words and adopt grammar structures that the child is likely to understand, or how we speak differently with close friends than we do with staff in a store. The way we say something conveys messages about our state of mind, perceived relationship with the other person, our perception of the other person's seniority or language skills. And that's why the right way to say anything always depends on the context. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you have to say things in a certain way for that to be correct business English. I see a lot of advice online that says, oh, when speaking business English, you need to use this advanced word and not this basic word. For example, you should say inform rather than tell, verify rather than check, provide rather than give, satisfactory rather than good. Wrong! In my experience, this is terrible advice. And focusing too much on this big word mindset is going to make you sound like a robot. Even in my industry, that is the legal industry, which is particularly known for throwing around big words and writing incomprehensibly, I've observed firsthand that people actually prefer when you speak simply to convey a point. Using simple words to make your point actually makes you sound smarter, because it takes a lot of thinking to be able to convey your message simply, such that it is easy for your listener to grasp and engage with your idea. How many times have we been dumbstruck by how little we understand after someone finishes their long speech? There was this famous quote, "I would have written a shorter letter, but I did not have the time." It takes time and thought to say what you want to say simply and succinctly. I would suggest embracing simplicity and make it your signature. Choose simpler words and sentence structures when it makes sense to do so, when the added complexity adds nothing to your message that you're trying to get across. Contrary to popular belief, there's actually nothing wrong with saying, "Please send me X when convenient. Thank you," versus, "I'd be grateful if you could provide me with X at your convenience." Knowing that, do you now feel that you can relax and loosen up a bit when using English in a business context? There is no need to force yourself to come up with a 3 or 4 syllable word to make you sound smart or professional. However, what you should do instead is to upgrade your phrasal verb prowess. Choosing the punchier, more colloquial way of expressing yourself will make you sound more relaxed and in control. And phrasal verbs are your best friends here. Let me reply to you. Let me get back to you. We should get approval from the client. We should run this idea by the client first. Something has happened. Something has come up. Do we want to investigate whether we want to use AI for our new project? Do we want to look into using AI for our new project? Using phrasal verb to convey the same meaning as longer words will make you sound a lot more natural. It also gives off the vibe that you're quite comfortable and you feel like you're on an equal footing with the other person. But what about the business speak that we're so used to? Isn't there specific words and magic phrases we use in the business context to show that we're part of the club? Let's circle back to the implementation issue. At the end of the day, we're trying to create the best possible experience for our users. Just a heads up, I'll be off-site this afternoon to attend a client's meeting. It's on my radar and I'll turn my attention towards it once the roadshows are completed. Well, I found a couple of words and phrases that are actually quite useful in the business context that says professional quietly without sounding pompous or robotic. I don't have time to cover them all in this video, but I will make another video on this if people are interested. I don't see a lot of people talking about this, so consider this my little secret gift to you, my viewers. The first of these phrases is "I understand that" or "my understanding is that." I've not heard it used much outside of the business context, for example, among family and friends. But this is a super useful phrase in the workplace or when doing business. What it does is it conveys a state of affairs as you believe them to be, but also add the caveat that it is only your understanding based on what you know. It does subtly hint that you have basis for your understanding. For example, someone has told you, but doesn't require you to state how you've come to that understanding, so that you can avoid accusing other people or drawing attention to the things you want to sweep under the carpet. Boss's assistant got the time mixed up and scheduled another meeting that clashes with ours, so we need to reschedule. I understand that our meeting this afternoon clashes with another. Can we reschedule? Boss, you were the one who told us to stop developing this feature. It was our team's understanding that the development of this feature will need to pause. As a rule of thumb, saying "I understand" will make the tone softer and more palatable, so that the other person doesn't get all defensive. The other super useful word is capacity. This is another word I've not used much before entering the business world. If you say "I don't have the capacity right now," it sounds way less personal than "I don't have time" or "I'm too busy right now," even though it is essentially the same thing. It also removes the negative connotation that "I'm too busy" has come to have, i.e. you think you're too important for that task. When you say you have no capacity, it simply means that you do not have the resources to meet the demands of this task, time-wise, energy-wise, or otherwise. Just jumping in here to add my 2 cents. While I agree with everything Jason has said there, let me take a step back and just peel back the layers and try to realign our priorities. I'm sensing what we need here is a real paradigm shift. We need to think outside the box and reimagine the possibilities. What insights can we glean from the current situation? And how do we synergize and action on them? We all know this person and we hate them. Say what you mean and let us get on with our lives, man. Corporate jargons have quite a reputation. Like it or not, some of them are here to stay. I would even argue that they're not as bad as they seem, as long as they're used in moderation and you have an actual point to make. Some examples include, ball is in their court. This means that it's for the other party to make the next move. We've sent a demand letter a couple days ago and the deadline to respond is next week. The ball is in their court now. Let's take this offline. This means that let's discuss this after this meeting separately. Jamie, I think we can take this point offline, as it concerns only the 2 of us. Let's move on to the next agenda item in the interest of time. I would like to circle back means literally that. We've talked about A and the discussion has moved on to B and C and now you want to come back and talk about A. Karen, just circling back to the venue point you made earlier, I don't think you've mentioned the associated cost yet. Do you have anything to add on that front? This is also quite a handy expression, which otherwise would take too many words to explain. Just like the jargons in all industries and literally every aspect of life, they actually help you say something quite precise without using many words. The most important thing to remember is to make sure you actually have a point to make, and that you are using the jargons to help you make the point, rather than to confuse people enough so that they don't notice you actually haven't got a point. Shamelessly stealing from others is a great idea when it comes to language learning. A bonus point is actually to find someone in the workplace whose way of speaking you admire and start learning from the way they speak. Is there any words that they like to use that clients really seem to like? Is there a phrase that they always use and you don't understand, but you've never bothered to look it up? Steal it from them and start using it. Acquiring a language is all about imitation at first, and you can do the same with business English. You'll be surprised how quickly you can pick up language habits from others and start adopting them in your own speech. I haven't got fluent in business English overnight, and I'm still learning new ways to express myself all the time. I've stolen expressions from lots of other people until I found my voice in the business context. Try it yourself and let me know how it goes. Now, you may wonder how I learned to speak English like this. If you're interested in the steps I took to finally reach fluency, go and check out my other video where I go in depth about the steps I took in my language learning journey to gradually master this language. If you're one of the lovely people who found this video before that video was made, and you're looking for some inspiration to start the new year with a new mindset, and learn about the mindset shifts that finally got me started on this YouTube journey, go and check out this other video I made about things I'm giving up to make the coming year my best year yet. If you haven't hit the like button already, what are you even doing? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.